everyone, Catatomic here, coming to what was once live from the Great Pacific Northwest. How are you creepy people out there? So, I am bringing to you guys a book that I had purchased. Oops, sorry about the shaky cam. I had originally asked one of the creators of this to have permission to talk about this book. He did not get back to me, but he's only partially, author, so, I think it's okay. Anyways, it is called Beyond the Dark Veil. And it is post-mortem and morning photography from the Thanatos Archive, which is a website you can subscribe to. And before I actually show you guys things in the book, there are pictures of dead people in here. I will show a few of them. I would prefer for you to buy this. You can actually buy this on Amazon.com. It's about $25. Well worth it. The book itself, look at the detail. It's very Victorian style. It's absolutely beautiful the way it's done. Even the back, the imprint on the bottom right here is very much like how Victorian photography was. So, this book, great coffee table book for creepy people. I mean, if you're interested in dead bodies and things like that. So it is, different things. We have, the different authors are Marion Peck, Jacqueline Ann Bunge, and Jack Mord, Joe Smoke, Adam Arson 1, Bess Lovejoy, Joanne Roche, Alex Jackson. Alright, so it has information. This is Remembering Death. It tells you history of how memories of the dead were kept. And it has deathbed and post-mortem. This photo right here is of a child who is not quite dead, but it seems like she is ill. It says Waiting for Death in 1856. And it's a photograph of a dying child, and it talks about the where it's from and who it was. So they have a bunch of photos like these of people who are sick but not dead. I mean, back in the day, you would only photograph once in a while. So that's why they did the deathbed photography, because it was better to take a picture of a dying person over a corpse, because at least they still had light in their eyes. But a lot of people didn't get the luxury, so they had to take pictures of their loved ones as dead. But they have just all kinds of these amazing photographs. Really, I'm not going to show you guys everything, and I mean, it is something to be seen, this book. There are dead children in here. These are not any people that are dead that I'm showing you, but I mean, look at this amazing photograph. It has the oval that you can see was, somebody had this up on their wall for a very long time. And then they had the next part. It talks about the solvent substitutes. So these have dead people in it. Talks about all kinds of stuff in here. Again, I kicked the camera, sorry. Grieving, how things happened. Then there's a section on children and family. There's a photo of a couple with a deceased baby in a coffin. I am not going to show you guys these photos because it may be disturbing to some people to see pictures of, like, dead children. But just remember, at this era, these photos were the only keepsakes they had to remember their child. If you had never had a photo of your child and your child died, would you take a photo as the only way to remember them? I had a friend online, and I had to take her off my Facebook because her baby died in childbirth. And every time I would look at her Facebook, her profile had a picture of her and her dead baby. And it was just hard to see. I mean, these are black and white. They're a little easier to look at. They're a long time ago. I mean, people look dead anyways in the Victorian photos. But to see this, like, full color, great quality picture pop up on my feed every time and see her grieving. It was hard, and I felt bad to remove her, but I just could not see it anymore. Okay, so this whole, it's a huge section of dead children. Here's a picture of a man in the coffin and his grieving wife. Hold on a second, I have to fix my camera. Sorry, I had to put some time on my phone because I was running low on space. Alright, now where were we? I was showing you this guy in a coffin. And this guy and his wife. A little bit of information, the difference between a coffin and a casket. A coffin is typically those shaped rectangularly. And a casket is... right? Is it backwards? I think it's backwards. Let's see. Hold on. It does not say in here. Anyways, I'm probably wrong with that. Please correct me below if I am wrong. I believe it's the other way around. A coffin is the, like, Dracula-shaped one, and a casket is more what we use these days. I'm not sure. Anyways, I have these photos of, like, a mother and children. I mean, there's tons of more photos in here. I'm trying to see if there's one that says about the casket. Here's, I think that this is is this a coffin or a casket? Anyways, this is a picture of a funeral on a prairie, middle of nowhere. There's some children in here. I'm gonna skip over the children pictures. Aha, a coffin is the one that's like Dracula, and a casket is the like modern day one we use. Ha! There we go. Alright. I mean, some of these photographs of the children are absolutely beautiful. They have some, I'll show you one of a child. It just looks like she's sleeping. They would position them like that, as if they were living. Sometimes they would have people covered up in a blanket that would be holding them. And those were more disturbing. Here's a picture of a young girl. They just made it look like she fell asleep reading by the book in her hand over here. I really don't want to show you every picture because some people can be offended by these dead children or dead bodies in general. But also I want you to buy this if you have a morbid curiosity. If you're into Memento Mori. Here is an entire case, a photo of it. See how it's velvet lined. Here's the man, so you can carry him in your pocket or keep it safe. Very nicely done. Typically in the turn of the century, children died very often of like everything. Tuberculosis, pneumonia, a simple cold, things like that. It was just common for children to die. People would end up having, like, I don't know, 17 kids, and only, like, 2 of them would survive. Here's a really lovely one right here, this woman. So that they have a whole section dedicated to adults. They actually have this advertisement for something called a cooling board, and I believe this man is demonstrating it. And what it would do is it would keep your corpses, it would preserve them. Then it would talk about death in the 19th century. So apparently I have been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes because I paused this so I can sneeze, and I was talking to nobody. So, we'll talk about the next section. Crime, murder, tragedy. Here's a group of people that died in a flood. It talks about who they are, I suppose. They have numbers above their head. There's a part where it talks about 3 in 1 casket. A man, it was a murder-suicide. And this man and his wife, and it talks about the article, I'm actually covering the baby. You don't have to look at a dead baby. The wife had shot him, and she killed herself and the baby. Here's a family that was murdered, and the killer is, like, right here. They didn't know the killer was there. Look at me giving away all the good tidbits. And then it goes into talking about mourning, which is one of the things I love about Victorian era. The mourning attire. Here's a picture of a bunch of people crying. A statue. Here's a really creepy funeral cart. Actually saw, is it a hearse? I saw a Victorian hearse at this museum in Port Townsend, Washington. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's some mourning. These people are mourning. There's a photo of the passed man. He's not a dead body. Anyways, they have a lot of different setups. Here's a sarcophagus for a bird from the Victorian era that somebody had made. How sweet. Somebody must have loved their bird. Then they have some more Memento Mori lockets here. Children in mourning. Oh, here's some lovely spirit photography inside. Yeah, there's a lot of mourning photography of people standing at grave sites. Very somber, very sad. And then they have a section about pets, which is like a memento mori of cats and dogs. Those are dead cats and dogs. I don't ever let my son look at this book. Here's a picture of a dog that was laying on his master's grave. Very sweet. It talks about different terms of the photography. It also gives you a bit of information about each of these people that are involved in this. Jack Mord is a collector of rare vintage photography and the owner and operator of Thanatos Archive. He lives in the Pacific Northwest, so he's actually up by where I live. I follow him online, Jack Mord. He runs Thanatos Archive, and I appreciate what he does. So anyways, there's the book, Beyond the Dark Veil, Post-Mortem and Mourning Photography. Very beautiful book. Very great for anyone who collects morbid, curious things like this. Very well done. Don't trust the other reviews. Trust me. This would be great for a creepy little collection. A great coffee table book of morbid things. I really enjoy it. I think it was very beautifully put together, and I appreciate owning it. And if you do buy it new, it comes shrink wrapped, and it's very well taken care of when you get it sent. So it is available on Amazon.com. Just search Beyond the Dark Veil, and you should be able to find it. It's very beautiful. So I highly recommend that book to anybody who is into this type of things. Especially if you love the Victorian era and the mourning and the dark part of it. It goes hand in hand with that. Or else you can join the Thanatos Archive, which Jack Mord runs. I believe it's a pay site. I have not been a member. I just am friends with him on Facebook, and I see the things he posts there. He collects all kinds of photography. He has some beautiful things that he gets restored, so he is saving history, and I think that buying this book also contributes to a part of that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this and weren't grossed out or anything and found it intriguing and beautiful like I did. If not, that's okay. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter. And you can tell by the way I'm talking that I'm wrapping things up. And so I hope you guys have a great night. Have a spookylicious evening. And don't let the monsters bite your tippy toes.